Shakira's here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Travel the world, no fear, no fear. Dancing all night so clear.
Hello everyone, I'm Shakira Says and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, thumbs up this video, because you're definitely gonna love it here. You're just gonna love it here. So this story time is going to take place when I was about 21 years old. I just graduated from college. At the time, I was working 2 jobs. At the time, of course, I just graduated from college, so I had very little responsibilities. And like most 21-year-olds around the time, early 20s, you did a lot of partying, and you were finding your way in life. So at the time, I would consider myself a high functioning party goer. And what I mean by that is you're able to do a lot of extreme partying, but you're still able to go to work, take care of your responsibilities, pay your bills, and sustain yourself and not stray away from your goals in life. So that was me. Like, I was able to party a lot, but I was able to, be responsible and work towards my goals at the time, which was very good. Okay, so at that time, I was very, very, very popular. Like, I knew everyone, everybody knew me. I was at all the parties, I was at the club, I was at the regular house parties, I was at the cookouts. Every function, I was there. They saw Shakira. So yes, I was at all the parties. And my mom at the time would warn me, like, Shakira, you need to, be careful when you go out to parties, especially house parties, because it's very dangerous. People go in these house parties with weapons. They start, pow-powing. So be very careful. She was like, stay away from house parties. But of course, I'm like, Mom, I'm 21. I do what I want. I don't have to listen to you anymore. So she was just like, just be careful. And, as a mom, to an adult, there's only so much you can say, but like, be careful and pray. So I'm pretty sure that's what my mom did at the time. So yes, so I was living the good life. So one day my homegirl calls me. She's like, Shakira, I just got a new car. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for you to see it. We should link up tonight and we can go to a party that her friend told her about. So I'm like, cool. Heck yeah, I want to go to the party. I was a party girl. I wanted to maintain my party image. So I'm just like, I'm not turning down the opportunity to go to a party. And this is my homegirl. So of course I'm going to the party and to see my girl's new car. So I agreed to go to the party, and she was like, cool, I'll pick you up at, I don't know, whatever time, and we'll go to this party. So that evening, of course, I was getting dressed. I'm blasting my music, I'm getting dressed. And I put on my cute top, hair is done, put on my favorite jeans that hug me in the right places. You ladies know what I mean when you put on those pair of jeans that just, like, you just know it's giving body. You looking good. And my outfit's looking real cute. And I didn't have any shoes to match my outfit. And at the time, my sister and I, we shared a room. So I'm like looking in the closet like, I don't have any shoes to match this outfit. And then it was like, ta-da! My sister's shoes were there. And I'm just like, I gotta wear these shoes. It's the only color shoes that match like what I had on. So I know if I asked my sister at the time to wear her shoes, she'd have been like, no, like, you're not going to a party in my shoes. So I'm like, you know what? My plan was I'm going to wear the shoes to the party, and by the time I come back, I'll just put the shoes back, and she'll never know. So I put the shoes on. and it completed my outfit. And, you know, I'm looking good. I'm feeling myself. You know, when you look good, you feel good. So my friend hits me up. I'm downstairs. So I was like, bye, I'm leaving. I told my mom, I was like, I'm going out to a party. I'll see you later. I'm going to hang out with my homegirl. So we leave for the party. Her car is looking good. She had a really nice car. I was so proud of her. Of course, I gave her my congratulations. And yeah, her car was really nice for a young person in their early 20s to have. So I was so proud of her. Okay, so we arrive at the party, right? So it's a house party in the neighborhood, so it's not far from where we live. And when we get to the party, to the entrance of the party, we can hear the DJ. The DJ's playing some good music so far. And before we get in, there was like a cover. I remember it being like $5 or $6. And, you know, that's nothing. I'm like, okay, you know, because a lot of house parties, they do charge you a fee. Like back then, it was like $5, $6. I think now if you go to a house party, it's like $10, like $10 to go like stand in your yard or your living room. But anyway, I don't go to house parties. But let me continue the story. So I remember like when I was pulling out my money, like I had dropped a $20 bill. I had like a $20 bill and a $5 bill. In the party, it was most likely like $5. So I give the person the $5, and I remember I dropped $20 and I didn't even notice. And the girl at the door that was like collecting the fees for us to enter the party, she was like, "Oh, you dropped $20." I was like, "Oh, that's so nice." So the party's off to a good start because I didn't even know her, and she didn't even have to tell me that. She could have just let me, you know, just move on into the party, and I wouldn't even have known that I dropped some money on the floor. So I picked up the money and I thanked her. I'm like, "Girl, I don't even know you, and you just looked out. Thank you, sis." Like that was sweet of her. Like wherever that girl is, I know she is just she's getting blessings for that. Because that was so sweet of her. So anyway, we go into the party. We're there a little early because you know, house parties, they don't really start really vibing until like after 2 when people come from the club. Like after the club, of course, people are gonna want to, you know, continue to party, so they find house parties to go to. So we arrived like way early, like maybe I can't remember, this was so long ago, but I know it was like maybe before midnight that we arrived. So there was very little people there. There was people there at the party, but not a lot of people yet. So the DJ was good so far. Me and my homegirl, we vibing, like we're having a good time so far, even though there wasn't a lot of people at the party at the time. But we do see people we know because we Miss Popular girls. We popular. We know everybody know us. So we start seeing people that we knew. And we're greeting people, we're dancing. And then as the night progresses, of course, more people start to arrive. The clubs let out, more and more people come. And it's packed. It got super packed inside the house. So my friend and I, we started seeing more and more people we knew. And I noticed, like, you know, as the night went on, I'm seeing people I haven't seen in years. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen you since first grade, or I haven't seen you in, you know, like this X amount of years to these people, which was good. I don't have beef with people, so I'm enjoying it. I'm happy that I'm seeing people that I haven't seen in years. You know, my friend and I were moving around from the left side to the right side of the living room. The living room was the dance floor because we're in the house party. And so we're having a good time. The party is just good. So I remember at this time we were standing by the wall, you know, just chatting it up with some people that we knew at the party. And then for some reason we moved to the middle of the floor. I don't know, maybe a really good song came on. You know how when like you're in a corner and a really good song comes on that you want to listen to, so you go closer to like where the DJ is or the middle of the dance floor. So that's what my friend and I did. We went to the middle of the dance floor, which was the living room. And thank God we did. I don't know why, but we went to the middle of the dance floor. And then all you hear is pow, pow, pow. And like all I see from the corner of my eye is like a ball of fire. And then it just registers to me like, wow, that's a gun letting off that fire and bullets. And chaos hits from there. Like everyone just starts scattering and running. Like your first instinct is to run, and it's already dark in there. They have the lights off, obviously, because it's a party and you want the lights off. And it was just crazy. And it was like I was in a horror movie. And you know what happens in a horror movie? Someone always trips and falls. And I was that person. I was the person in the horror movie that tripped and fell. I remember I tripped over someone. Someone fell and then I tripped over that person. Like, as soon as I got to like where the DJ booth was, and I remember like where I tripped and fell, it was over a person. It wasn't like, I don't think it was, the person was, I remember the person bleeding, but he wasn't, unalived. And when I fell, I'm like, damn, I'm like, this is it, Shakira. Like, my mother warned me to stay away from these house parties. And this is how it ends for me. Like, I kept thinking like my life was flashing before my eyes at that night. And I'm like, wow, this is it. And when I fell, I felt my sister's shoes that I had no permission to wear, that I didn't ask her to wear. They fell off my feet. And I remember when I was on the floor, I'm just like, I kept saying, this is it. Like, I kind of didn't want to get up because I'm like, this person's going to get me. If I get up and run, like, I don't know if this person's going to get me. I didn't know why the person was shooting, who the person was going after. I didn't know if they were just like just shooting to shoot. And I was just like, oh, but I got to get up. And I remember the DJ looking down like at people that fell, because I wasn't the only one that fell. There was a couple other people that fell as well. And he's like, damn, he was looking down like, oh my, like in shock and horror, like, oh my God, oh my God. I remember he kept saying that. And like, I'm just like crying, and I'm just like, oh my God. But the Lord gave me strength, and I was able to get up. I don't know. Some sort of strength came into me and was like, get up. And I got up and I started running. Of course, my sister's shoes fell off me, and this was a life or death situation. So I couldn't go back and get those shoes. I'm just like, I have to keep running because I don't know where this gunman is. So I run like towards the door. Like the way that I came in, I was running towards that entrance. Of course, like the house wasn't but so big. And I remember like when I was running, like the person wasn't shooting. I heard a gunshot, but I knew like the person shooting wasn't shooting after me, but I heard the gun. And I remember like there was this refrigerator, and I seen some people by the entrance, and it was the same people that were like collecting the money, the people whoever was hosting the party. And it was like, okay, run this way, like the door's right there, just go, you're okay. And I remember doing that, and I ran. My jeans ripped, my knee was scraped, my favorite jeans, and my sister's shoes were long gone in the house at the crime scene. And I remember running outside, and I ran across the street, I remember, and like I was like, I didn't want to run too far, but far enough. So, and I remember like, I'm like, damn, I don't even know where my friend is, because we lost each other because it was chaos. It's not like we intentionally left each other. We're going to leave each other like for dead. It was like, it was chaotic. Like everybody was running for their lives. And so I remember I was trying to call my friend. Thank goodness my phone didn't fall or anything. And I remember I was trying to dial my friend, but I was shaking so bad. I couldn't dial any numbers. Like I was shaking so bad. If you ever been in a traumatic situation, like you can't do what you think you're supposed to do, if that makes sense. Like, like if outside of that situation, you're like, damn, let me just make this call. like, you know what you would do if you weren't in that situation and what you're supposed to do. But when you're actually in that situation, it's like you can't think. You're shaking. Your body's going through shock. Like, my body was going through shock and I was shaking. So I couldn't down my friend. And I was just like, oh my God, I hope nothing happened to her. Like, but like in my heart, like, I know like she was okay, but I just still had a little bit of feeling that, like, you know, like, what if, you know, she was left back in the house. So I remember I just started crying, sitting on the sidewalk with no shoes on. And then I seen one of my homeboys. He's like, Shakir, it's okay. You survived. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You got this. And he was like, it's okay. And like, he was just comforting me. I remember that. And then I can't remember how my friend and I reconnected, like if it was over the phone at first. But you know, she just came around the corner and she was fine. Thank God. Thank goodness. She was A-okay. Like, she didn't lose her shoes, nothing. She was okay. And then she was like, Shakir. And I'm like, friend. And, you know, we just hugged each other. Like, thank God. Like, you know, we survived. Like, that was really a close one. So we went home. She dropped me off. We parted ways. Of course, I was like, call me girl when you get in safe, that sort of thing. And she did. And I remember when I went in the house, my mom and brother, they were still up. So I was crying and I told my mom and brother what happened. My mom was like, I'm so happy that you survived, but I keep telling you, stay away from them house parties. I keep telling you. And I'm like, yes, Mom, you were so right. And then I told my brother I saw some of his friends at that party, so he should check on them. So he started hitting them up, checking on his friends. That I told that he started checking on his friends that, you know, that I told that were at that party. So the next day comes, my phone is blowing up. Like, everyone's hitting me up because I'm the party girl. Everybody's like, I know Shakir was at this party 9 times out of 10. So everybody's hitting me up like, Shakir, you okay? Was you at that party? And I'm like, yes, I was at that party. And they're like, we're glad you're okay. And I thanked everybody for their concerns and for checking on me. And the next part of the day was, the other part of the day was the most stressful part. And I was terrified, you know, to let my sister know that I left her shoes, like they slipped off my feet, that I borrowed her shoes without permission and they slipped off my feet when I was running away from the shootout. So my sister was looking for her shoes. She's like, where are my shoes? I know I left them here. And then I just had to like toughen up and let her know what happened. And she definitely was upset. And my mom too. They're glad that I survived. Before I say this, how they were upset and stuff, of course, they're happy that I survived and that I was able to get away. But of course, they did lecture me like, you know, why would you do that? You don't do that, which I shouldn't have taken my sister's shoes without her permission and to wear them to a party, you know. And I really thought that I would be able to come back home and put my sister's shoes back where I found them and she would never notice. So, yeah, that plan, it didn't work out, of course. Yeah, so that's what happened. Ever since then, I calmed down with the partying. I slowed down with the partying and I completely stopped going to house parties. If it's not a legit club or a friend's gathering, I won't be there. I don't do house parties ever since then. Like, that was a really close one. And I really learned my lesson. And for you young people out there, if you're going out partying, cool. That's what you're supposed to do. Enjoy your life. You have one life to live. But please, please move with caution. And don't go to house parties where you don't know the people and it's out to the public where, you know, they're not checking people for weapons before, you know, they enter the party. I can't remember if they checked anybody or pat people down before they went into that house party, but please Boys and girls, do not go to house parties, especially if you do not know them. And if you do, please exercise caution. Be on the lookout. Be on your P's and Q's. Even when you go to your friend's house, even when you go to the legit club where even they're checking people, they have metal detectors, still be careful. Okay? And lesson number 2, don't wear your sister's shoes or any clothing without permission. Like, don't do it. So that is the story time about how I survived the shootout. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed my story time, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.
Shakira's here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Travel the world, no